Jacuzzi, for this lesson, we are going to be focusing on trigonometry. So this is the last lesson goal 5, and we are going to basically focus on the formulas that are at the very bottom, the ones in pink. So we've done scientific notation, simple interest, binomial expansion, and Pythagoras. Now we are at the very end. Okay, let's get to the question. All right. With trigonometry, you are, for this revision at least, you're only looking for the unknown side. Okay, and I've written the 4 steps there on the side, and we're going to go through and do each of these steps to solve for the missing side. In this case is A. Okay, but first we've got to label the sides. So by that I mean the longest side we know is the hypotenuse. I'll just write the whole thing this time, maybe hypotenuse, and then opposite the angle is our opposite side, and the last one is the adjacent. Okay, so step 1 done. Then step 2, what do we have and what we're looking for? So we will always have 2 things that we know, the angle in this case and the hypotenuse in this case, and we are looking for the opposite side. So we have those 3 things. We have 2 things and we are looking for the opposite side. The adjacent in this case is not relevant. So I'll write down what I have. I've got the angle, which is 35 degrees. So we call that theta, that symbol, and that's the angle. The hypotenuse is 6 centimeters. I've been given that, and I'm looking for the opposite. So that's my question mark, or I can call it A like they have in the question. So again, I have 2 things, always will have 2 things given to me, and I'm looking for the other thing. So step 2 done. Now step 3, we need to choose the correct trigonometric function. So either sine, cos, or tan. Right, and these are given on the formula sheet, where sine theta is opposite divided by hypotenuse, cos theta is adjacent divided by hypotenuse, and tan theta is opposite divided by adjacent. Okay, if you're not sure, just rewind to go up to the beginning of the video where you can see the formulas. Okay, so now to choose the correct one. Now if you remember, I said the adjacent is irrelevant because not been given a value, and really I'm not even looking for it. So I've labeled it there, but it's not in my story here. So any ratio that has adjacent, like cos and tan, I can't use those ratios because they have adjacent in them, and I have nothing to do with adjacent. I've got things to do with opposite and hypotenuse. So sine is my clear winner. So I'll write the full ratio. Sine of the angle theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Then I'll just plug in my values, or substitute my values in. My angle we know is 35 degrees, and then opposite, I don't know what that is, I'm looking for that. Hypotenuse is 6. Okay, in this case now we've done basically, first of all, we've done step 3. Let's tick that off. So step 4, we need to solve for the unknown. Okay, when the unknown is at the top, okay, because in another case, the next case, the unknown will be at the bottom where the 6 is, and that is I'll show you how to do that one. But in this case, we will just multiply across. So in this case, you just have to multiply them and write the 6 first. So 6 times sine 35 degrees. If you do it the other way, without using brackets, you would get the wrong answer. So be careful of that, and then you just need to write your final answer. That's 3.44 centimeters. And that's my final answer there. So all 4 steps then are. So the same way, we're going to do the same 4 steps with the next question. So I've got the 4 steps written down again there. So we're going to label the sides. Okay, I'm going to go a bit quicker in this one. So the hypotenuse is the longest one, so I'll call that H. Opposite the angle is the opposite side, I'll call that O, and the last one's adjacent. Step 1 done. What do I have? What am I looking for? I've been given the angle, which is 5 degrees, so that's theta is 5. I've been given the opposite, which is 120 meters. I'm looking for P, so that's adjacent. Adjacent is what I'm looking for, and that's P. Hypotenuse is irrelevant in my situation. I don't have it, don't have any value for it, I'm not even looking for it. So in this case, when I've done step 2, when I'm doing step 3, I have to choose the correct trig ratio. Again, like we said, hypotenuse is not relevant, so anything that has h can't be used. Cos has h and sine has h. The correct one to use is tan. If you're not sure of what the formula looks like, go to the formula sheet for tan. So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Then I'll just put the values in. I've got tan of 5 degrees, it's the angle there, equals opposite, which is 120, divided by adjacent, which is the letter P. I'm looking for that. Now, remember when I told you in the case at the top here, when the unknown A is at the top, we just multiply 6 times sine 35. We multiply those two values. In this case, our unknowns at the bottom, so what we have to do is swap those two. And so what will happen is where tan 5 is, you'll have P, and where P is will be tan 5. So this will look like P is equal to 120 divided by tan 5. So when the unknown's at the bottom, you divide, you'll look, and the answer will be tan 5, which is 1371.61, and it's in meters. It's my final answer there. Okay, so just remember that when the unknowns at the top, you just multiply. Unknowns at the bottom, you have to swap it, it's going to be divided. Okay, and with that, we've done all our 4 steps. That's trigonometry.